Hola amigos, bien o no, saludos otra vez desde Medellín. Hoy el tema es preguntas avanzadas, advanced questions. So today we're going beyond just how or what, and we're going to look at a different way we can frame our questions, different way we can base our questions, try and get some more information. Now we all know, sure, that the basic question words are who, when, where, why, what, how, and maybe do or did. But this is a way of taking it a little bit further than fairly basic questions like what is your name, where are you from. We're going to start looking more about, really looking a bit more into the psychology or the feeling of the other person we're talking to. And these are some different ways we can perhaps classify our questions, and we're going to get some very different results. So we're going to look at these under some different sort of headings, maybe under like the motivation of the person for what they're doing, what influences their decisions, what their opinion is about something, what their experience or what they have experienced, how they're feeling, whether they can give us some kind of recommendation, and maybe lastly, kind of analytical questions. So you see, we're already starting to look at these in a different way than just basic, hello, what's your name? Now we're starting to really look at the type of information we'd ideally like back from this question. So here's some examples, see what I mean. Just if we're looking at motivation, so we're interested in what's really making this person do the things they're doing. Now, how do they do it, or why? So here we go. How do you stay enthusiastic? How do you stay positive? How do you stay motivated? Why do you do that? Why do you do that? Well, why do you do that? What's the source of your motivation? What's the source of your motivation? What do you draw upon to do this? Literally, to draw upon is almost like to pull out of the ground, or literally pull out of a well, if you like. It's like getting water out of a well. What do you draw upon to do this? Really, what's the fountain of your inspiration, in this sense? Maybe we're interested in what influences the person. So we can ask them something like, who has been the most influential person in your choosing this career? Or what has been the most influential event in your choosing this career or this life choice? Who do you credit as your greatest influence? Who do you credit as your greatest influence? Now, credit in this sense is you're owing like a debt to that person. Yeah? What made you change your mind? What made you change your mind? How about opinions? Let's say we're looking for an opinion from the person. We could ask them, why do you say that? Why do you say that? Or we can go with, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Let's say we're interested in their experience. What do you know about this type of work? What do you know about this type of work? Or we could ask something like, have you dealt with this kind of problem before? Have you dealt with this kind of problem before? Feeling. How are you feeling? Fairly easy one, yeah? How are you feeling? How do you feel about that? Or how do you feel about this? So again, looking at not like an opinion. Are you all right? Are you all right? Would you like to talk about it? Would you like to talk about it? How about recommendation? Recommendation. Is it good? Is it good? Or let's say the other person's been to a particular event you know about, or meeting or some sort, we can say, how did it go? How did it go? Perhaps a bit more obvious, should I buy one of those? Should I buy one of those? Analytical questions. Sometimes this is more like how much, how many. How much, how many. But also, we can have a slightly more complex one like, what is the projection for 2024? What is the projection for 2024? Okay, there's just a few examples. Now this is by no sense exhaustive. Even on one of these, really, we could probably do a whole board full of questions on just one of these topics. But this is to show you, if you start thinking about it, once we get beyond the fairly basic sort of, even let's say how much, or what do you think about this kind of question, look at what information are you really trying to get from the other person. Are you looking at perhaps what's motivating them? Are you looking at do you want a detailed opinion? Are you looking to get them to share their experience? Something like that. Because once we identify more clearly what type of information we would like, we can start framing the questions a bit differently. We can start being very specific in what we're asking, and hopefully we're going to get a much better set of information back. So that's the challenge. Once we've gone beyond the fairly basic sort of hello, how are you, think about what kind of information do you really want? Because there are other ways you could ask this, and often you can get the same answer really with a very similar question. So if I was to ask you, what's the source of your motivation, or what do you draw upon to do this, I'm probably going to get a similar answer, but I have two different ways to ask it. So think of it like this. If you're an interviewer on a famous chat show and you've got a very important guest coming in, how do you ask them interesting questions beyond just how are you or tell me more? This is the kind of way to frame it. Something like that, yeah? So have a think about that. That's the challenge for today. And déjame saber en los comentarios what you think about this one. Until next time, from Medellin, cheerio for now.